Hola, welcome to another rant. With me on a Sunday morning. It's quite a bright Sunday morning, although actually it looks brighter on camera, I suspect, than it actually is. It looks quite miserable if I look out that window. And as this is the first rant of the new year, Happy New Year to one and all. So, this rant is entitled Who Were SoundSource Unlimited? So, just before Christmas, this thing turned up. Alright, and I'll put that up in the top corner. But this is a SoundSource Unlimited catalogue, and I believe, judging by the back of this, and again I'll throw this up on the screen, this was around 1991. I'll come back to that in a sec. So looking through my sound sources, my boxes of discs and cartridges and what have you that I've got down in the studio, I noticed that I have quite a few of these things from this company. So they obviously made quite a few for quite a lot of models of keyboard. And there you go. And again, I'll throw these up on the left hand side. There are two cartridges that I have for the M1 from SoundSource Unlimited. Put them down there again. So I got me wondering, who are these guys, which is where the catalogue came from, and what other sound packs, because that's what they call them, exist for the instruments I own. And then it got me interested in who actually were SoundSource Unlimited, period. SoundSource Unlimited, on some of their material, it's written as SoundSourceUnlimited.inc. Right. Giveaway, that is an American incorporated corporation name. A little bit further digging, I found out that SoundSource Unlimited Inc. was because I don't think it exists anymore, was registered in California, and the company seemed to be based in Westlake Village, California. And they appear to have been very, very active during that period of the late 80s and early to mid 90s. And the reason why I sort of said that time frame is because I can find stuff on the internet, not necessarily about the company, but referring to the company's products during that period of time. Trying to find information about the company itself has proved to be really, really difficult. Now, I know this catalogue was produced in 1991, and I know at that point in time I'm going to go through and say what synthesizers they actually had offerings for. But by the time we get to the late 90s, early 2000s, this company seems to have completely disappeared. And all references to this company seem to have completely disappeared. So going back to, in 1991, this company was producing sound packs for the following synthesizers. Right, Yamaha SY99, SY77, TG77, TG33, SY22, SY55, TG55, V50, DX7, TX7, TX802, DX11, TX81Z, DX100, DX21, DX27, RX5, RX7, TX16W. So, in the late 90s, and I know this because I always wanted one, and I have never ever bought one. I always wanted an SY77. Maybe I should have set my heart on the SY99, but I've always wanted an SY77. So I know roughly when that period was. But they also, what was really interesting, if you read through this list, is the RX5, the RX7, the drum machines, and the TX16W is a sampler. So there were sound packs for a diverse set of instruments from Yamaha. Then we move on. From EMU systems, they did sound packs for the Proteus 1, the Proteus MPS, the Proteus XR, the Emax, and the Emax 2. Alsys, HR16, SR16, which is obviously the rack mount of the HR16. Roland, another long list. JV80, SC55. Now that surprised me. That was the sound canvas. It did surprise me they did sound packs for it, but hey ho, they did a sound pack, or did several sound packs for the SC55. D50, D550, not a surprise there. D110, D20, D10, D5, again not surprising. MT32, another surprise one. I was surprised that they did stuff for the MT32. JD800, D70, and U20. Now, I have never come across anything on the U20 for Sound Source Unlimited. I'd be interested about that. And Sonic, SD1, FD, FX, EPS 16 Plus, which is the keyboard I showed just before New Year on the rant. So that has, to be honest, yet to be switched on. But that's a different story. SQ1, SQR, and SQ2. Korg, another long list. The 03RW, the 01W, the Wavestation AD, the Wavestation, the M1, the M1R, the M3R, the T series, the A3, the A2, and the A1. Coway, K4, K4R, K1, K1R, K1M, K12, XD5, PV, and I don't know a lot about PV actually in terms of keyboardy type stuff. DMP3, that's really interesting. I know I can tell you more about DMP3, but it's got nothing to do with keyboards. DPM version 3. Kurzweil, K2000A, Casio VZ1, VZ10M, PG380CZ. Again, interested in the VZ stuff because that was, if my memory serves me right, that's their sampler. So as you can see, this is a list of stuff, and I will put this up on the not all the things, but if you look at this, and I'll just give you a sort of rough. There you go. There's the Korg and Cowie pages. So in 1991, they are all, and they will appear here somewhere. They are all the packs that they were currently selling. Very interesting. And this book, by the way, runs to quite a few pages. So they were, as far as I can tell, a fairly decent size outfit. Especially as some of this stuff had to be supplied either on disk that you loaded onto your computer and then you dumped onto the keyboard, or they were putting them onto cartridges, or they were putting them onto DX7 style cartridges. So there had to be a sort of a decent size outfit to be able to actually support all those different formats. And maybe that was what actually undid the company, is the fact that they were supporting all the different formats. Anyway, I found references in 1982 for this company, registering various trademarks for audio clip and film clip software. And if you go to the back of this catalogue, 1991, they are talking about film software clips. So that particular picture is for Star Trek, and I'll come on to that in a minute. So they were registering trademarks, so they seem to have been doing some or selling some stuff in that area. But the company never renewed these, which is why I'm inclined to say they've gone out of business, because there is reference on the US. I'm not quite sure what it's officially called, but the US trademark publication that says all the trademarks that have been applied for and all the trademarks that have now come out of protection. And in 2004, all the trademarks were listed as lapsed, which means that basically anyone can now use those trademarks if they wanted to. So, looking through the catalogue, thumbing through the catalogue the other day, and I sort of looked at, and I found that there was a big advertisement for Grey Sounds. Now, Grey Sounds are somebody I've seen pop up on the internet. They made E for the DX7 Grey Sounds, if anybody remembers that. I'm assuming it's the same company because there can't be too many Grey Sounds making that sort of stuff. But Sound Source were a reseller of Grey Sounds. At this point in 1991, which is really interesting because I've seen Grey Sounds advertised product on the internet in the last few years, and they seem to be now reselling Sound Source Unlimited stuff. But I think this is more, they probably bought the excess stock from Sound Source Unlimited and are just basically selling off through the various portals on the internet, just to get rid of it. So it's sort of kind of it's new but old stock, if that makes sense. Stuff that Sound Source never sold while it was trading. So the problem is with this company, and I'm not going to say why I was researching it, but I'm just saying I have been researching it. The problem is with this company is the details of the company are completely sketchy. There's very little I can find, very little filing. I can't find company accounts, and I'm not prepared to pay several $100s for some sort of American patented or some sort of American attorney to go and dig up their financial statements. It's not like the UK. In the UK we have Companies House, and every company has to file at Companies House, and they also file the filings for the particular organisation. It's all available free on the internet, whereas I struggled with the American side of it. But if somebody could tell me how to search the equivalent, the Californian equivalent of the Companies House for free, then please drop me a line, and I willingly go and do some more research on this. But this company existed at that time when the internet, I suppose, is where I would call in its infancy. So it sort of started up, but content wasn't really corporate content at this point. It was more sort of the pioneers of the internet. So I suspect a lot of this detail just hasn't made its way online, hence the reason why the information is really, really sketchy. Now, I believe that the creative masterminds behind this company were two chaps called Chick Corea and Jerry Goldsmith. Chick Corea I do not know an awful lot about. And I also have to say that I am not 100% sure that these two were the creative masterminds in terms of own the company, or whether they were just employed to develop the sounds. Okay, so I'm not sure because I can't find ownership details. But they come up a hell of a lot when you're actually searching for Sound Source Unlimited information. So, Chick Corea, what I do know about Chick Corea, and I say I don't really know much about Chick Corea, is he is an American jazz pianist, keyboardist, and composer. His biography detail his music career, but they detail nothing to do with any sort of sideline like Sound Source Unlimited might have been. It's all about who is he played with during the decades, and he's still alive and he's still out there performing. The second guy, I do know who Jerry Goldsmith is. And the reason why I know who Jerry Goldsmith is because he did the film scores for a number of films that I thoroughly love. And those films were things like The Omen, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which was an utterly rubbish film, but the sound score was brilliant. The Boys from Brazil, Planet of the Apes, Alien, just to mention a few. Okay, his list of film scores just goes on and on and on, and right up to Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, he died in 2004, so that was the end of his composing career, if you like. He was in his 70s by then anyway. But I do know who Jerry Goldsmith is, and again, there is nothing in any of his biographies online that actually says that he had some sort of ownership or was running this sideline. So there is it. Sound Source Unlimited were a big noise back in the late 80s, early 90s, supporting us keyboard players who were buying the synthesizers of the day. But since then, they have quietly drifted off into the wisps of history, and there is very, very little I can find about this company. So, anybody else out there feels that they have information to add to my Sound Source Unlimited search, please drop me a line. I'd love to find out more about this company, and if anybody knows how I can search the Californian version of Companies House, also drop me a line, because I'd love to actually just pull up and confirm that they've ceased trading. Anyway, for this early 2020 rant. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. If you liked the content of the video you've just seen, please give it a thumbs up. It just helps the YouTube algorithm with its selection process. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free to do that as well. Down below somewhere should be the ability to do that. I do try to respond to all the comments that are raised on the channel. Sometimes it takes me a few weeks because of what I'm doing, and I'm getting more and more and more comments and questions raised on the channel, so it just takes sometimes a little bit of time to do a bit of research. If you want to be notified when I put more rants, mailbergs and videos about this sort of legacy tech and even modern tech on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified by YouTube when stuff happens. I try to publish at least 2 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. Until next time, bye-bye.